So then we will continue with the root text itself, Alam for the path to enlightenment. And we are now at the 30th verse. So this ties into the kind of textual source that is cited in the case if you're not able to receive such vows from qualified teachers, then you can generate the altruistic intentions yourselves. And so now the 30th, it cites the same sutra, the Ornament of Manjushri's Buddha-filled Sutra. And I shall prepare immeasurable, inconceivable realms, and it will remain in the 10 directions for any who call out my name. Having purified all physical and verbal actions, I shall also purify my mental activities and avoid all that is non-virtuous. So it kind of talks about that unshakable determination one needs to have and the implication of generating such an altruistic intention, bodhicitta. So if there is any being in all the realms, in the 10 directions, who called out my name, which is if there are anyone who kind of prays to bodhisattvas, then I will remain in samsara to benefit such beings. Then, having purified all physical and verbal actions, I shall also purify my mental activities and will avoid all that is non-virtuous. So then this talks about the pure conduct that we stressed was important in order to develop bodhicitta within the continuum of our within our mental continuum. So then we will ensure that our speech, our actions, as well as our thoughts are not contaminated by the afflictions of ignorance, attachment, and aversion. That's so moving on. Completely now, this is an instruction. Completely pure body, speech, and mind cause you to maintain the actual vow of engaged bodhicitta. So rather than in the aspirational stage wherein we kind of strive to generate that aspirational bodhicitta, that altruistic mind, then when you come to the actual vow of engaged bodhicitta, then it means that your body, speech, and mind, the actions, the speech, the thought that spring from these three doors should completely be pure and free from afflictions. So then, moving on, properly practicing the discipline of the three trainings, your reverence for these trainings grows greater. So by properly practicing the discipline of the three trainings refers to the training of ethics, the training of wisdom, and the training of concentration. So when you begin to cultivate your practice by training yourselves in the training of ethics, wisdom, and concentration, then your sense of reverence for these trainings develops or grows further. Yes. So then, therefore, by exerting yourself, moving on, therefore, by exerting yourself in the Bodhisattva vows, bent on pure and perfect enlightenment, the accumulations for complete enlightenment will be fully perfected. So, when we develop such an aspiration to achieve complete and perfect enlightenment for ourselves, we can only achieve such a complete and perfect enlightenment by training ourselves in the training of ethics, training of wisdom, and training of concentration, supplanted by the rest of the six great perfections. So we can only hope to achieve such a pure and complete enlightenment only when we begin to exert ourselves in training in these things. Yes. So then the last two lines, the accumulations for perfect enlightenment will be fully perfected. So this is an important point. The act of training in ethics, the act of training in wisdom, concentration, all of this is to accumulate merit and wisdom. So without the accumulation of merit and wisdom, then one cannot begin to achieve complete and pure, perfect enlightenment. And these are the two accumulations, the accumulations for complete enlightenment. And now the 34th verse ties into the same point that is being made. All Buddhas say that the cause for completing the accumulations, whose natures are merit and wisdom, is the development of the higher knowledges. So all the Buddhas of the past have said that the cause for completing the accumulations of merit and wisdom is the basis upon which one can develop or gain or achieve the higher forms of knowledge, such as omniscience and realizations. That's So this is the importance of achieving perfect and complete enlightenment for oneself, if one wants to really fulfill the needs of sentient beings in samsara. And as the 35th verse begins to explore, just as a bird with unfledged wings cannot fly through the sky, one who lacks the power of the higher knowledges will be unable to work for beings' benefit. For short-term as well as immediate purposes, then we can begin to help and benefit sentient beings. But if we want to fulfill sentient beings' needs to their full, then one cannot do this without the higher realizations and the higher forms of knowledge, such as omniscience and the subsequent realizations. So just as a bird with unfledged wings cannot fly through the sky, one who has not accumulated the merits of wisdom and merit and wisdom, which gives rise to these higher forms of knowledge, such as omniscience and realizations, one cannot begin to effectively help all sentient beings. Dinala Kandijukana, Mushida Dembe Chebuchi Gisra, any Nisenching of Sajoki, any Sunamchi Ras, the any Mushi maybe Chebuchi Gisra, Chewa Chatalaya, and Samituaris. So then the 36th verse talks about the quality and the profound nature of this higher knowledges, such as omniscience and realizations. The merit of a single day and night gained by one with the higher knowledges is not attained within 100 lifetimes by one who is without them. Yes. So those who desire to swiftly complete their accumulations for perfect enlightenment will accomplish the higher knowledges through effort, not through laziness. So then those, as we already made the point, that if one really wants to fulfill the needs of the kind of unlimited sentient beings in this world, then one cannot do without achieving realization, achieving these higher forms of knowledges, such as omniscience, magical progress, realizations for oneself. So then, if one desires to swiftly complete the accumulations for perfect enlightenment, then these people can only accomplish the higher knowledges through effort, not through laziness. So it stresses the point that it needs effort from the practitioner. It cannot be. It is not something easily achievable. It's not something that one only wishes for. One has to constantly put in the effort to achieve these realizations. Thus.
신내주의 치대 양다 양도 배버차 서봐 당국이 아버지 중앙에 신내주가 아니 배전이 아버지 치고래서 배전이에 대해 직감 보니까 양이 양도 배버차.
So then, if one has to achieve these higher knowledges, such as realizations, omniscience, and these set of magical prowesses, then one cannot achieve such higher knowledges without the accomplishment of shamatha. Higher knowledges will not arise without the accomplishment of shamatha. Therefore, strive again and again to accomplish calm abiding. Yes. So now we are going through these verses very concisely, talking about the main points. So as long as the requisites for shamatha are weak, even if you were to meditate with great effort for thousands of years, still you will not accomplish samadhi. So then if the requisites for shamatha are weak, if the cultivation of shamatha as a meditative practice is weak itself, then even if you were to meditate for thousands of years, you will not be able to achieve true samadhi, that true state of meditative absorption. Yes. So moving on, therefore, the maintaining the requisites taught in the collection of Samadhi chapter, place your mind on any suitable virtuous object of focus. So that is the meditation device itself. So then it's important, as long as the requisites for shamatha are weak, you will not be able to achieve a true state of meditative absorption. So then it's important to maintain the requisites for achieving true shamatha. So therefore, maintaining the requisites taught in the collection of Samadhi chapter, place your mind on any suitable virtuous object of focus. Yes.
What is the requisite behind the other five before?
No, that's not the requisite. The requisite is like pure conduct, not engaging in free from being worldly entanglements, and staying in a place where there is less commotion, and the place it is safe for meditation, free from the dangers of elements. Exactly. So the conducive conditions to actually cultivate shamatha as a practice are the requisites. Sorry. Dinala tananzo shinengwe su dubela ni chajen ro jishengda. Di chajen di kare kare ni keja tigda. Chajen di tananzo namju sudumyang dawa. Ni yuweba. Ni jigdengi sansing da pa long ma jowa. Ni koryuk sangwa. Ni de nyingamewa tindela yadirba. Wati rela di love sign. So then to repeat, the requisites for shamatha are the kind of conducive conditions, the kind of prerequisites actually to cultivate actual shamatha. You need a conducive place which is free from the dangers of element, does not pose a threat to your life, that is far away from the commotion of worldly society, and you yourself are free from the entanglements and engagements in these worldly affairs. And then pure conduct, most importantly. Then also the kind of 5 pitfalls that presents themselves when you actually begin to cultivate shamatha practices, such as overcoming laziness, excitement, over-application, under-application. So all these things are the requisites for cultivating shamatha. The shamatha shiningmazu to this but chajin doche. The shiningma gexing it over young leloda dumachebala to chebala to anything to chimago about you ever what is Tedagi Nimbuchi would let the Zura. So then, even when we talk about a general meditative practice, beginning to cultivate a general meditative practice, then it's important to know like what set of posture is convenient, what set of posture is effective in order to develop a meditative practice, such as making sure that the cushion on which you are sitting is a little bit higher than your front, so then you are able to kind of keep your spine straight for longer periods of time, and there is not so much pressure on your legs. And then placing the eye on the tip of the nose, and then placing the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth to make sure like the throat doesn't get too dry. And all these are instructions without this kind of instructions, then when we actually sit down to meditate, we begin to feel a lot of irritation. So similarly, if you actually want to develop shamatha as a practice, then you need the prerequisites, the conducive conditions. You need to think about cultivating these conditions before one begins to sit down to meditate. So one cannot begin to meditate effectively in a place where there is so much noise and commotion. So this is why the prerequisites for shamatha, training in them is important if you want to actualize shamatha as a meditative practice. So then it is important to remember when when the instructions in the text appear a little bit too obtuse, a little bit try to relate it to your own experience. And if you do that, then it's the same. Then you begin to make more sense of the instructions. Because, for example, when we think about cultivating a practice and all these different practices that are mentioned here, such as shamatha, such as the complete and perfect enlightenment, and vipassana, and so all these things, we feel like these are something that is separate from ourselves. We create a sense of distance between ourselves and these practices. Even when we think about liberation or enlightenment, we feel like it is something beyond us and something separate from us. And this inadvertently creates a distance between ourselves and the practice. Whereas nirvana, liberation, all these things are in the mental continuum itself, is in the mind itself. The mind becomes perfected, the mind becomes enlightened. It's not that the body and the mind begins to transcend to a space and realm that is beyond this physical entity and this psychophysical aggregates. It is within the continuum of these psychophysical aggregates that the mind achieves enlightenment. So then, this is why it's important to realize that it is always relatable to our own experiences, because these are based on empirical traditions. So then if we begin to think about how, if we are not mentally prepared, or then how less engaged we are with what we are doing. So as you wake up in the morning, and if you have mentally prepared yourself with a motivation that today I'm going to study some things, and then you mentally prepare yourselves to make time for it, and then when you actually study, you are more engaged. Whereas if today, even in the morning, you do not kind of mentally prepare yourselves to do these things, then when you actually begin to do these things, then you do it very half-heartedly sometimes. And then after reading a few pages, you reach for your phone. And then after a while, mind begins to become distracted. This is because we are not mentally prepared. So then this is the importance of motivation as well as mental preparation. So this is the point that is being made here, that the requisites of shamatha are weak, then even if you try to exert great effort for long periods of time, you will not accomplish the desired result. So training in the preliminaries, training in the preparatory stages is very important if you want to cultivate an effective meditative practice. Thus. So then, similarly, if you think about life itself, then it's like this. We keep pushing things off. We keep saying that I'm still young. I'll practice when I grow older. Then days pass by. And so similarly, I'm not sure if in your traditions ordained monastics have to do this, but for us, we have to complete our daily quota of recitations. And if I do not really set my mind to it, saying that I'm going to finish my recitations today, then there is a lot of distractions. Some people call me asking for help, some people call me out. So I have to make a mind every day that I'm going to complete my daily quota of recitations. And if I do that, then I can finish it on time. Otherwise, then if I run around here and there during the day, then in the night I have to do recitations. So sometimes even in the night you don't get the time and you have to push it to the next day. So like this, it's important to prepare yourself mentally with an intention, with a resolve that you want to do these things. And if you have such a resolve and mental preparedness before, then you do not keep pushing things off. You do it on their time, and then you are able to do it with full attention when you do it because of that mental resolve and mental preparedness. And this is the way in which life goes. Like every day, the life is made out of these days. So if we keep pushing these things day by day, then in the end we keep pushing it through years, and then life begins to end for us after a while. So it's important to approach each day with such mental preparedness, mental resolve, and with such intention. Yes. So then really, I think it wouldn't hurt to talk about this at this point. Like, we really waste a lot of times as human beings. One, like, half of our life is spent in sleep. Now this we cannot help. Then the rest of the time we kind of have to go to like different activities such as attending party gatherings, then going for movies, then going out to eat. All of these distractions is endless. And then if we really don't like mentally prepare ourselves and mentally make the resolution that I need to dedicate some time for my practice, then like we keep wasting time all the time. And even when we think about practitioners, then for us it's a challenge too. Like really engaging in a pure practice, it's very difficult if we do not have such a mental resolve, because the sources of distractions are so much, and the way our mind can become distracted even when we are engaged in listening to a teaching, even when we are engaged in religious rituals and things. Then if we really do not have such a mental preparedness, mental resolve and intention, then like we're just wasting time most of the time. Yes. So then this is important. We need to take time into account. Sometimes we forget that life is very short and very uncertain. And now if we look at the lifespan of a human being, then even though like some people die at the moment of birth itself, then we are stretching it at this point, saying that someone can live up to 70 years. In an ideal situation, like averagely, a human being lives up to 70, 80 years. So now in that instance, let's take how a human being spends their time into account. When they are young, they are helpless. They cannot feed themselves. When they cannot look after themselves. So they are helpless at that point. And then now you go to school after. Then they go to school after a while. And in school, you are like caught up with your assignments and school activities. And then you graduate to college. And in college, you see a little bit more of the world. And then you like kind of think about your career, what profession you want to pursue. And then you come to pursue such an occupation or such a career. And now as you pursue such a occupation or career, then you begin to think about your economic situation. You want to earn more for yourself. You want to think about, you want to have some money for the future. And then when you do that, then you marry some point along the line. And then you have kids. And now you dedicate all your time and effort in raising these kids. And then after a while you realize your body and your mind is showing signs of aging. And now you cannot walk as you normally do. You cannot do the same things. And then you feel, sometimes the diets that you normally enjoy does not agree with you. And then after a while, you spend more time in the hospital than you in hospital visits than you do engaging in normal activities. And then life has come to an end after a while. So in Tibetan we say, don't think about business, think about taking things into account. So account for things rather than thinking about benefits or gain all the time. So this is what it means. We need to take things into account. So we need to take time into account, how we spend our time. So where is the opportunity to cultivate a practice if one begins to live life in this manner? And where is the opportunity to be more mindful if we live life in this manner? So it's time to ask ourselves, where are we at this stage? I'm sure we are not kids, but we are somewhere along one of these stages now. So then it's time to ask yourself the question, is this true? This is the general way, that general kind of pattern of a human being living their lives. And this is important to take into account. Sometimes we fail to take these things into account and let's say that we are living life, and then we don't know what kind of stage in life that we are passing through. So then at this stage it's important to take a stock or an inventory, saying that, I'm at this stage, so how should I approach the next stage of my life? So it's important to do that because we learn the best from our own experiences. So if you come to a realization that, up till this point I've lived my life in such a manner which is kind of regrettable, so I will now approach my next stage, or what is left of my life live my life in a better way. So this is important to do.
거에도 가서 남자잖아 나 수치가자 나 수치기서는 양자도 지금 말이야 갑자기 미시에 죽고다 수수상 만나는 근데 로저다 수수상 당한 수행이 뭐 기시셔야 돼 아주 맞지 않는데 양자 나는 지금 미지기 처라지 맞아 마다
So then the way the elderly Tibetans used to advise young people, I think is very profound. They used to say that all of these advices comes from a place of experience. And then they say that many advice, like rubbing your nose in the street or in the sand or in the gravel is much more efficient than listening to advices. So that means that you need to learn from your experiences. If you come into a bad experience, then that teaches you more than all sets of advices and instructions. So then the text itself goes on to talk about the same things now, these higher realizations and higher forms of knowledge. So maybe I think it's better if we hear from the group. So in the Tibetan tradition, we have advices like this, which talks about the importance of learning from your own experiences, saying that rubbing your nose in the gravel is much more beneficial than listening to advices. So what are the similar idioms that you have in your own culture? Maybe we can share, yeah?
There's a very similar one in Chinese. In Chinese, like, 读万卷书不如行万里。It's like, no matter how many thousands of books we read, it's not as useful if we walk through this thing that basically experience it directly throughout travels or direct experiences.
탭 잘로나 야스라 지표 말이스. 파 수수수 도그레스. 사자 찍고로 탭 잘로나 지표 말이스. 수수수 바 참가 도그레스. 공화전이 도그레스. 디기는 야가야레스. 딜.
잠나 가서 딜. 답변 디나 들어오래. 탭 펴먹으러서. 나 사람마다는 탭 잘로 탭 애들 먹으러네. 사람마다는 다가 제가. 세상 이만 어제 가래. 탭도 사람만 수수선 땅으로 다시 수수를 만들어 이렇게 시 양육 단어 말이다.
Yeah, so this is very good, and it's particularly relatable to me because I have spent many years, 20-something years, reading a lot of books. So now, if I do not begin to contemplate on their meanings and their implications by talking about it, by trying to teach this thing to other people, then it just remains in the books. So it's very relatable for me.
We say narcodoxa equal and cartoloxa plus one line, okay? So that means an idiot person will face the failure only once, but one who is smart and clever, they will have to face the problem 10 and several times. So that means when you learn through experience, then you make more mistakes or everything, somewhere along the line.
밀렘바 지기 간이 템바 직직부 동네 지기레스. 밀렘바 지기 간이 템바 직직부 동네 지기레스. 아니 미디스 남주 진주라. 디 간이 템바 아니 자 동네 저거 있는 동네 지기레스. 디 갈라게 열다나 아니 밀렘바 지기 간이 동네 템바 직 지에 답시 나 레나레 마레니 야미 당셔그러스. 민남주 진디기다 내가 가르치어도 지망의 야조건이 가르치어도 디 삼 냠용기 문제라. 삼다이 코거든지.
아고 디나 로니 데네 안도데 로니요다 다시 배가 항상가 또 시들 따다다 드라마던데 이 없었어요 라 로가 상사사 자 또 엔드 로니요다 아니 좀 나는 나랑 이게 뭐시게 따가 이 따다는 마탄데 베스라스라 지난해 개말이네 소쇼 마사르야 말에 야로 바사야 신이 뭐지 지자를 뺏가다 저는 가서 인간이 저도 그렇지 데라 찍는 거 차지 아니 이 무슨 찍자를 뺏가다 Then that is just some chin tam in a joa. Kojodo or Chiniche that starts like these number children. Chicken or what the name drama to the Najimachi. What's up? Kashingero Kashir, Mahamasari, and in Masaya, and Ching the Loni, they are doing
Yeah, so this is a good one too. In Tibetan, we call such people being short-nosed. One who people give up like immediately at the if they're not able to achieve what they want to at the first goal. We call them very short-nosed people. So yes, it's a good one. So you need to like constantly be able to put in the effort if you want to achieve what you want in your in our lives. And that relates to our practice too. We cannot begin to hope to see the results or the transformations immediately. We need to constantly like put in the effort again and again. And this is particularly relatable to me too, because when I was appearing for my Geshe-ma degree, then it was a course of 4 years, and then you had to appear for an exam every year. So there were many people who failed, or who used to fail examinations. And then they didn't used to give up, And then not just fail in 1 year, they used to fail like in the next year, the third year. But they never gave up. They always used to like appear for it again and again, because everybody is allowed 2 chances to fail. If you fail more than that, then you cannot appear for it anymore. But they like, even if they fail in the first, they fail in the second, third, they never gave up. So I'm really amazed by these people. For me, like if I fail in the first year and I fail to like graduate to the next year, then I think it will be a very difficult thing for me, because I have to now get used to a new set of friends. Yeah, and then I also like had a lot of fear, like if I fail, then like people will begin to talk about like how I'm trying to juggle too many things, I'm teaching here at Thosamling, then I'm trying to appear for my Geshe-ma degrees. So yeah, when I thought about myself, then I'm really amazed at these people who even if they fail, they never give up. So then when you develop such a determination first that you want to now graduate through your Geshe-ma degree, then with such a strong dedication and such a strong motivation, then hard work does not even feel like hard work. Because I used to teach Tibetan here at Thosamling, then I had to attend classes for my studies, and then I had to study on my own. So then like a daily routine looks like you have to wake up at 5 in the morning, and then like you are studying until like 2 or 3 in the morning in the next day. And that's just not for 1 day, it goes for like 4 years. And so yeah, it didn't feel like hard work back then. Nowadays, if I have to read something, then it feels like a little bit, you kind of have to put in the effort. But when I had that motivation that I want to do these things for myself, then it didn't feel like hard work. But there was a sense of stress, of course. There was a sense of, there's like a lump in my mind that if I go out for a walk, then immediately I feel like I'm wasting my time. I need to dedicate it to my studies. But nowadays, when I go out for a walk, I don't have to worry about that lump.
그래서 이 것이 먼저 미리로 보다 말이는 주나 주 맞는 많이나도 거는 주는구나. 지 지면이다. 얘기 로직도 가르치는 시에는 캐나다에 미주라. 공적인 시대도는 가르치고 미주 있으면 나도 따다 줍니다.
So the reason that I recount these stories from my life is to stress the importance of being motivated by something that you want to accomplish. Being motivated by something is very important in life. If we lose that sense of motivation in what we do, then it's hard work all the time. If we have that sense of motivation, then everything doesn't feel like hard work. Okay, then we break for tea.